Now, what is being house poor? Now, being house poor is very simple, and I'll explain it. But before we begin today's episode, if you could please like and subscribe, and also comment below on what other topics you would like me to discuss on this channel, whether it's real estate related or entrepreneurship related, let me know. I'm here for you. When you're house poor, it means that you are buying a property that is well out of your personal budget. So maybe your pre-approval says that you can afford a $700,000 house. You're qualified up to $700,000. Great. Hold on though, chill. If you know after talking with your lender, getting your pre-approval, you know that you can only afford a house up to $550,000 with the monthly payments, then this is where you need to say, I don't want to be house poor. Because if you go over your budget that you know that you can afford, this is where you're going to see the struggle of keeping your home, keeping that payment going, and then you might be looking down in a year where you can barely afford to keep your home. You may take out a second loan on the property just to keep up with the monthly payment, and that's where things can get a little ridiculous, right? And that's because a lot of my clients, and sometimes even me when I'm buying, get into this idea of, oh my God, I'm so close to getting my dream home. I'm approved up to $700,000. I know I can't pay that, but we'll figure it out later. No, don't do that. This is the most important investment you're making in your life. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. If you can get something decent in your actual budget, then go with something that's decent and have a stepping stone, and you will build up to get the actual home that you want later. Even if people are making fun of the purchase that you're making, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, girl, let me tell you something. If you can buy anything, okay, even if it's like a $250,000 condo, it's a studio and only you, yourself, and I can live in it, if that's all that you need and that's all you can afford, even if you can buy more, stick to your budget. Love that $250,000 condo that you're in, because I'm telling you, in a couple of years, if you just resave after buying, it's going to take you a couple years, right? Rebuild up your savings. You will most likely be able to sell your condo for more than what you bought it for. And if you sell that condo and make about $50,000, $100,000 in profit, use that profit to go buy the next property that you really want to buy. Level up after you get the first property. Everybody wants to skip levels in this generation, and I'm part of the late millennial, early Gen Z. I'm like right up in there. How y'all doing? We kind of like skipping these levels of financial freedom, success, and even building up in our careers. It's the same thing with buying a home. You can't skip levels. You can't skip levels when you're an entrepreneur. You shouldn't skip levels with buying a home and what you can afford. Because if you start doing that, that's where you will start feeling the pressure of owning a property, and you'll start resenting yourself for having this mortgage, and it's not even an asset for you because all your money is going towards your mortgage payment just because you wanted to buy that cute little home by the water and sip some margaritas with your friends. It's not worth it. It's really not ideal just to get an ocean view and then be out of your house in a foreclosure in like 6 months. It's not worth it. For me, is when I bought my first condo, I didn't even own a property at the time. It was 2019. I was 23 years old. I was approved up to $485,000. And at the time in San Diego, okay, you were able to buy a house for that price. $450,000 for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom house. I was close to buying a property for $450,000. But I looked at the monthly payment at the time. I knew I could afford up to $2,000 a month with HOA, everything. The property that I was about to buy was gonna cost me $2,500 a month. $6,000 a year that I was not anticipating for. And even though it's going towards my property, I knew right before writing that offer on that house that I would resent the home that I was in. I would be screaming at empty walls because I couldn't afford furniture. So that's why I did not get that property for $450,000. It is worth a lot more now, but at the time, I could not afford it. I could not live in it comfortably. Right? This is where I go back to looking at condos again. So same year, 23, still looking at properties, but instead of houses, now I'm looking at condos. The highlight for me at the time is I'm now able to look in nicer locations because I'm buying less, because I don't need a 3-bedroom house. All I need is a 1-bedroom, even a studio. It's only me. And now I'm able to go into nicer parts of San Diego, location that I preferred from the get-go. I'm looking, in North Park, Hillcrest, downtown, all the areas where I'm like, I could never buy a house, right? So there's already an upside. I'm staying in my budget, and I found a condo for $310,000, $140,000 cheaper than the house that I was about to buy. And even better, my total monthly payment with the HOA is $2,080. So I went $80 over, okay, big deal. But it's a lot better than going over $500 on your preferred budget monthly. Like, damn. If I had did that with the house, like I said, I don't think I would have been able to hold on to it. And I probably would have had to have sold it, within a year or two. And with my condo, I still have it. That loan is going down. So every year I'm eating at that principal and interest. And I am now able to sell my condo in San Diego at any time now and make over $100,000 in profit. Now, that's if the prices go down, then that's a different story. But in San Diego, that's a really strong market, like Los Angeles, San Francisco. There's certain areas where the prices are never going to go down like dramatically. But in this situation, I'm so thankful I did not go above my means and get into that house. I stayed within my means, and I still own that condo 4 years later. And at any moment, if I do want to sell, it will be a really good situation. I could buy another condo, maybe 2 condos, because I was able to get something that was well within my budget, and I owe very little on it, and I'll make a good profit when I'm ready to sell. Stay focused on buying what you can afford, what's in your budget, what makes sense for you. Don't get everything, all the bells and whistles on your first property. If it's your second property but you can't afford a lot, just stick within your budget, because I'm promising you, if you stick it out and do it the long-term way, within 2-3 years, when you save up again and you can afford more home at that point, that's when you'll be able to sell that first property, use the profit that you made from the sale of that home that you really didn't like but you needed it, and that way you can use that profit on a house that you're going to buy in the future that you really, really wanted back then. But this time around, you have some money from the sale of the first home that you bought, and you can put it towards the dream home that you really wanted. It only takes a couple of years, but it's stepping stones. It's levels to this, okay? You don't really know how much you can afford. Talk to your agent and your lender, because your lender will know, based off of your debts and income, how much you're bringing in. They know how much is coming out of your monthly income. And when you look at all your debts monthly, you will really have a better understanding of what you can really afford.